Hello everyone, it's good to have you here again. Tyranny is alive and well in Victoria. The type of tyranny where ordinary honest people are loathed by the government and experience hostility and contempt just because they disagree with or have a different point of view than the tyrant. And what is bizarre is that most Victorians don't see this and welcome the actions of the tyrant with applause and approval. The tyrant is, of course, the hostile, arrogant and proud Daniel Andrews. What's he doing now? First, he denies people justice for valid complaints. Please see video 1 in the description below. Jim's Mowing has a valid complaint. Many of their workers are independent sole operators, people who work by themselves, who are socially distanced in their work. But during the pandemic, they were banned from working. However, council workers working in groups and not socially distanced were not regarded as a danger to health, and faced no such ban to their jobs during the COVID-19 pandemic. Why was one group banned from working, while council workers who work in groups and were not socially distancing were allowed to work? The Victorian government guidelines at the time said it was all right for independent sole operators to work, but Daniel Andrews said otherwise in a press conference. It seems that Daniel Andrews was not aware of the government guidelines when he made his statement at his press conference. Later, when he found out about the policy, he simply refused to apologise or correct what he said. He persisted in his ban, which was then enforced. Why on earth not admit that you made a mistake and correct what you said? But Daniel Andrews won't do that. The man's pride and arrogance knows no bounds and prevents him from all such decent action. Jim's Mowing has a legitimate complaint, but Daniel Andrews refuses to address it. Jim's Mowing took their case to VCAT, and it seems Daniel Andrews had the outcome of the case all sorted out. VCAT members who preside at VCAT cases were described as Daniel Andrews' minions, ready to ensure that Daniel Andrews was not troubled by any legal dispute. Jim's Mowing was prevented by the VCAT member from gaining access to information from the state government that in normal times would be freely and publicly available. But these are not normal times. Tyranny is out of control in Victoria. It is very easy for the government to influence VCAT outcomes and make sure their decisions are always in the government's favour. The members at VCAT are not judges. Members are lawyers or other specialists appointed by the Governor of Victoria. Appointment by the Governor is supposed to make VCAT impartial and independent. However, they are anything but impartial and independent, and the reason why is rather obvious. We saw during the debate surrounding Daniel Andrews' pandemic law how the people approached the Governor of Victoria to not support the law. We saw that the Governor invented reasons why she would not stop the law, and the reasons she gave showed that she refused to consider what the public said. She was seen then to be an ALP hack, put there to ensure Daniel Andrews got no opposition or pushback to what he wants to do. Daniel Andrews puts his people in senior positions to do exactly that. He has his man in WorkSafe Victoria, in VicRail and elsewhere, to ensure that he gets no pushback for what he wants to do, regardless of how outrageous it may be. This is how the tyrant works. The ALP corrupts everything it touches, be it education, justice, workplace safety, public health, quarantine hotels. Everything they touch they corrupt so it serves their purposes. Even the quarantine hotels were sabotaged, and I'll get into this shortly. He has done the same thing with the Governor of Victoria. Daniel Andrews came to power in December 2014. The Governor of Victoria was appointed in July 2015. And Daniel Andrews made sure the person he wanted was recommended to the Queen, who makes the final appointment. So we ended up with an ALP hack representing the Queen in Victoria. The Governor of Victoria appoints members to VCAT. The fact that the Governor does this is no safeguard that VCAT is independent or impartial. Instead, it's a guarantee that only ALP hacks get positions at VCAT. It was quite appropriate to call the members of VCAT Daniel Andrews' minions, because that is what they are. They are there to protect Daniel Andrews first and foremost, and to ensure that his policies are implemented as he wants. Jim's Mowing had a valid complaint. The VCAT member's reply was simple. No, you're not going to see the government paperwork that would ordinarily be available to the public, simply because Daniel Andrews would not like it. This VCAT decision undermines justice in Victoria. The member basically said that the government doesn't need to release documents if Daniel Andrews might be embarrassed by them. It shows that if you have a case that might bring any embarrassment to the tyrant, your case will not see the light of day, or it will fail in VCAT. If you don't embarrass the tyrant, then possibly you might get a fair chance. This is where we are in Victoria right now, at the beck and call of a megalomaniac and tyrant, whose feelings come before justice to the people and any public accountability. All these ALP hacks do the same thing when their time comes. They protect the interests of Daniel Andrews, and they're all eager to please the tyrant. For example, please see the video at point 2 in the description below. Daniel Andrews' man in WorkSafe Victoria spared Andrews any repercussions for killing 800 elderly people. His deputy health officer issued a directive to allow infected people from Cedar Meats to be not held in the quarantine hotels, allowing them to return to the community if they wanted. The Coates inquiry showed us that this action led to the 800 deaths in our aged care homes, and Daniel Andrews escaped scot-free from this vile act of manslaughter simply because he had his man running WorkSafe Victoria. This is how mad the deranged tyrant is, totally devoid of any decency or accountability. In part 2 of this video, we will investigate another way that the tyrant has corrupted the democratic process to serve his own selfish purposes. Stay safe, friends, from this madman and his minions. The government is not there to protect or help you. It's there to protect Daniel Andrews. Unfortunately, this is what Victoria has become.